Hello, friends. Joe Lynch here from the Logistics of Logistics. And today I'm talking about Manifest with my friend Matt Perrigo. Matt, please introduce yourself and your company, where you're calling from today.
Absolutely. So my name is Matt Perrigo. I'm the Director of Business Development for ODW Logistics. So we're a 3PL headquartered in Columbus, Ohio, with 31 locations across the U.S., primarily, California, Chicago, and then obviously we're pretty strong representation in Central Ohio. We are a warehousing as well as freight brokerage, freight management company. And we really focus on retail consolidation for our clients, kind of into those larger retailers, and those larger big box retailers is where we put a lot of focus, especially in the middle market.
Right. So what is the middle market?
So it's corporations that kind of a ballpark run about 250 million a year to 2 billion in annual revenue. For us, it's really about the size of the shipment that they're shipping to where they're going to go. So will they partner with our other 30 clients in our consolidation and build great cost-effective loads to deliver into these retailers' DCs? And is it the right product mix to do that, right? So a lot of CPG, a lot of goods that you can find at those big retailers, food, beverage, wine, things like that.
Yeah, that retail consolidation is a big deal. So could you describe what that is for people who don't do that every day?
Yeah, so we take a couple locations. So right now we do it out of Columbus, Ohio, heavily, and we'll take 30 brands that are in our consolidation program right now, and we'll build the most cost-effective, efficient load for them into these retailers. So that offers them a couple of things. So obviously the economy of scale. We're doing 350 loads to Walmart, right? We're doing a sizable amount of loads into these bigger retailers. And so we can deliver a much more cost-effective solution and a much better solution for A, our clients, and B, the retailers as well. So we can fill their loads up. We can deliver them when they want, because we have a good partnership with them. We can deliver them with a great OTIF score and keep their shelves full. And then we also do it in a cost-effective manner that's much more efficient than, one of these brands trying to ship 6 pallets into a DC can get a little costly.
Yeah, and when you mentioned the OTIF score and that it's on time and in full, that bar is very hard to meet, and somebody can say, "Oh, I found a really great group of guys. They don't do that every day, but I'm sure they're really good. They're dependable and they're cheap." You are going to pay some hefty fees for that because they are not going to get that business. It is hard.
It is. It's a hard business, and it's a relationship business too, right? Is understanding what do those routing guides look like from those retailers. So we have a very tight partnership with some of these bigger retailers, and we have very close connections with them around what do they want? What do their routing guides look like? How do they want them delivered? What time do they want them delivered? And that's a huge thing, and that only comes from experience, right? You can't just dabble your toe in it.
Yeah, and you have to be able to say to them, "Hey, that you didn't tell us in time, so that's not going to be a fine for our customer." Or, "Hey, we can prove that we're there on time." You have to be Johnny on the spot with the documentation, and that bar is just so high. And I always say you might get fined, $1,500, $2,000 for being late, not on full, but I always say the bigger problem is there's a shelf that has supposed to have your product, and now your product isn't there, and your customers start to experiment with your competition. And also, the big brands that you serve are judging the CPGs that they work with, and they're judging them on how you sell, but they're also judging you, are the shelves empty? Because if the shelves are empty, the brand's not making money, nor is the retailer.
Yeah, I mean, I started my career in Target, and that was how we judged all these retailers, right? And you just carry that on as you go. Is can you keep our shelves full with what our customer demands? And so yeah, that's where it all builds from, right? All the other stuff that you talked about around traceability of the OTIF and having the good documentation, the paperwork is great, and that's a great feature to have. right? But can we keep the shelves full and get the products out of our warehouses and into the shelves of these retailers?
I tell you, I talk to a lot of different people, and one of the things I've noticed is this is one of those places where failure costs you quite a bit. And if failure costs you quite a bit, then you shouldn't be quibbling when you say, I found somebody who is expert at this, but they want to be paid this much. And I would rather work with somebody who is a little less expert but cheaper. I tell you, it's a huge mistake in the business you're in.
I mean, when we talk to new clients, we will tell them the whole picture of what it's going to be and what is their whole supply chain spend. And a big spend of that is fines, right? I mean, we just talked to a client that was spending, a third of their annual shipping budget on fines. And I was like, okay, well, we are a little bit more expensive, but we're going to reduce those fines for you. Like we're going to drive those down. And so your ultimate cost is going to be less, even though, if you look at it from a line item perspective, it might be a little bit more, but we have this experience that we can tell you, and we can bring these wealth of other clients and examples of what we've done. To really bring that additional value to you that you might not necessarily think about, because it's a value that doesn't go straight into what your 3PL cost is, right?
Yeah. And again, I think it's when you get a fine, that's the least of it. The relationship that is crumbling behind that fine, that matters. The fact that your brand isn't on the shelf. And by the way, I'm a perfect example. I used to drink Diet Pepsi until a place I worked didn't have Diet Pepsi. And I switched to Diet Coke, and it's probably cost them millions of dollars but since then. But
Everybody's got a story like that, right? Is you're out shopping and they don't have it, and so you try the next best thing and you like that better. Well, you just missed an opportunity to secure a customer for life, right?
Diet Snapple was hard to find for a while, and I would go and I see it somewhere and I'd buy it, and I stopped by my friends. I was like, "Look what I got!" And he's like, "Where are you getting this?" I was thinking it shouldn't be that hard. It's a national brand.
You wouldn't think so, but it is. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, and there's a lot of processes into it, and it's more difficult than it would appear to the outside consumer to do it well.
So our friend Leah from Lead Coverage was asked me to speak to you at Manifest, and I did not find you. I found lots of people. Manifest was huge. So the
It's a big show. It's hard to.
interview that we were going to do at Manifest, we're doing now. So what impressed you about Manifest? I wrote down 4 things. So if you forget what you said to me earlier, I'll
So
remind you.
this is the second year. For me, right off the bat, it is a smattering of everybody in supply chain. So over the course of 3 days, I talked to a one-man startup AI company all the way up to the biggest retailer in the world, right? And everything in between, right? We talk to PE firms, we talk to other 3PLs, we talk to freight forwarders, and it's just this great mixture of people who are really engaged and want to be there. And it's unlike any other
Yeah,
show
and I
that we
think
go to.
expanding on that, they changed the name last year from Manifest the Future of Supply Chain or Future of Logistics to Manifest the Future of Supply Chain and Logistics. And that was kind of reflecting let's get more shippers there. And so last year and this year, even more shippers, but it's not just shippers. It's a lot of logistics companies. And then there are all the tech companies that serve both of them. And then you mentioned the private equities there, the venture capitals there. And I told you there was people I saw who I won't mention their names because they said they were just observing who you wonder why they're there, but they're just saying this is interesting to us. and 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 that's not just from the US, it's definitely a global conference.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's a great story to tell. Because there's just even in the logistics in the supply chain world, it's interesting to talk to these people and see these people and hear what's going on and really see what's going on in the world that we all live in every day, right? That maybe we don't get to, in business development, I don't get a ton of access to kind of the cutting edge, next up AI tool, right? And I get to see that, and I get to think about what it would mean for our business. And no, it's an energy unlike any
Yeah.
other.
Before we hit the record button, you mentioned you loved how the culture was at Manifest. So talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I go to quite a few of these shows, and I'm at one right now. There's an energy from everybody to learn, and excitement. And you talked about those shippers and how they had really tried to bring them into Manifest, and they're engaged with 3PLs, and they want to make deals, and they want to talk about their next decision, or where they're going to be in 25. And that brings a lot of energy too, because as without our client list, right, there's it's a bit of a struggle. And so to have our current clients, future clients engaged, ready to talk about what's going on, and what are we thinking about from a technology perspective, and it's really exciting. I mean, it is.
There is an energy there. It's a friendly place. It's engaging, and I'll tell you, it's huge. Also, it's exhausting because you get there in the morning and you just go, go, go. And like I remember wandering back to my room Monday night right after it started. I was like, "Damn, I'm losing my voice," because I was doing a lot of interviews and blabbing too much. And I was like, I gotta conserve my energy. There's 2 more days of this.
That's a bit of it. Yeah. I mean, I took a flight out there the day of. So I took a early morning flight and got there to Vegas about 7:30 in the morning. And when I got done with our client dinner at 10 o'clock at night, it was scratchy, and my legs hurt, and
Extra
I had to
strength
try and pace
Tylenol.
myself. Absolutely.
And
100%.
maybe wash it down with the beer. So, also, I want to talk about this. This is something you mentioned before we started. Is it's in person, and every conference is in person these days, of course, but that matters in our business because we are spread out. We don't necessarily see our customers and our tech providers and our transportation partners all in one place.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for us, I mean, before I left for the show, I talked to some of our tech team and some of our kind of cutting edge, next level. What are their providers? Are their providers going to be there? And of course, they all were there. And it was great for me to go meet with them, talk to them, because they're on the other side of the United States, and have a conversation about what are they thinking next for us, and what can I use to sell to new potential clients. And then on the client front, right? I mean, I shared a cab with a client that I don't get to see very often, and then I got to meet a couple of clients that have been with us for a while, and then a couple of clients who I've been sending emails back and forth with, who could be potentials down the road here. But that energy from talking to them and interacting, because they're global, right? These are global companies, and companies from all the corners of the U.S. And to get everybody together, it's really nice, and it's really it brings a lot of energy.
Yep. And last but not least, you said this. I wrote it down. You said this launches the conference season. This is the first big event, and I know you're at an event this week, and you're sitting in your hotel room. I don't know how you did it because I need a week off, and I think that I need a month off. That was a lot of.
Yeah, the 48 hours at home was not enough. But what it is I know it's not the first of the year, right? There was another one we went to first, but for me, it's the start of the kickoff of getting out and doing this, and because it has this energy and all these different groups, it's a good kickoff, right? Because when you go to next ones, like I'm going with a couple particular clients for a particular vertical, and I need to talk to those people, and that's basically what we're going to do. This is more learning, and interacting and engaging, and so it really kicks everything off for the travel, and the being tired, and the weary hotel rooms and things like that comes. But it gives you a little bit of energy coming out of it too, as well, and it carries
If
over.
I could add something, I've gone to Manifest. This is my third year. I think they've gone 4 years. So this was the first year at the Venetian, and it has grown. Now it's over 6,000 people. And the Venetian is a really great place to have a show. And you don't really even have to leave the Venetian after you get dropped off of your cab. I went next door to Walgreens, but other than that, I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I was telling my 10-year-old, he was asking if I saw the lights of the Vegas Strip. And I was like, buddy, I haven't been outside.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a friend he's in Florida, meanwhile, and he sends me a text. He goes, "How's the weather in Vegas?" I was like, "How am I supposed to know, dude?"
I have no idea. My wife was like, I heard you got a cold spell there. I was like, I have no idea. I haven't even seen the outside.
But the Venetian is got beautiful rooms, the nice gym. The conference is top notch. Again,
It was, and it's not a labyrinth to get you back there either, right? It was really efficient, and then you could go straight into restaurants and meetings for dinner, and it was a
oh
great.
yeah, my friend Nate Schutz invited me to a little get together with some people from his organization, and he said, "Yeah," I said, "Where is it?" Because I was thinking, I can't walk down the strip, and he's like, "It's in the building." I was like, "Oh, beautiful." Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, you came out of Manifest and you came right into that restaurant row, and you sit there waiting for dinner, and you see three people you wanted to talk to, you didn't get a chance to talk to, and you get to go over, and then while you're at dinner, some old colleagues or something walk by, and so because they're all coming, right out of that convention center space there. So
well, Matt, I'm sorry I missed you at Manifest this year, but we at least we could do this. Um, so one more time, what does ODW do, and who do you serve? What problems are you solving for those customers?
yeah, so the middle market, we're a 3PL brokerage warehousing for the middle market. So we
And
really
how big is the middle market? What is that?
call it 200 million in annual revenue to 2 billion, roughly. And we really help specialize in retail consolidation and solving whole supply chain solutions for those clients across the board. So whether that's on their dray, once it hits a port in the United States, we can help solve all the way through to whoever that last user is, whether that's a Target, whether that's a Walmart, whether that's an e-com to somebody's home. We can kind of help solve all that solution in between there.
I love it. I love it. And again, I think this is such a difficult part of our business, and I think people underestimate it. And again, I say it all the time. That OTIF fine you received, that is the least expensive part of the problem. The relationship, you were a Target guy, so I'm guarantee you thought less of suppliers who did not get their stuff there on time.
100%.
So thank you so much for taking the time, and I will for sure see you next year at Manifest.
Absolutely, you will.
Thank you so much for taking the time. You have been listening to the Logistics of Logistics podcast, where we engage with leaders in the logistics and supply chain community. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave us a nice review on Apple or Spotify or wherever else you listen. Also, please check out our videos on YouTube and connect with us on LinkedIn. We're very big on LinkedIn. And you can also reach us on the logisticsoflogistics.com, our website.